Hey all, and welcome back to Fuzzy Dexter Gaming, and what's likely to be the last SSF episode for the Smite Slayer. I've took this character, I think, as far as I can with the playtime that I have available. So what we're going to go through in this video is the goals I had for the end of the character, and what I wanted to achieve, and what might come next. Now, I have got myself a gaming-related injury from just playing too much and being old. I've messed up my arm from just probably having it in the wrong position when using my mouse. So I'm going to have to take at least a break for a week from the game to get that to heal. And I then need to decide whether I want to play another character or whether we just wait until either the next league or POE 2. So let's go on to this character. So the goals for this episode was to firstly get a better large cluster. I was still running on a 2 passive large cluster. That could be improved quite a lot. I had a few different shots at doing this. The first idea I had was that the easiest way to craft these jewels is by spamming serrated fossils. They are fairly rare fossil though, so I did go and delve, got to level 83, went sideways, went to the correct biomes, and I just didn't find any serrated fossils. I then had a lot of harvest juice, so I decided to maybe try and reroll some fossils into serrated fossils. I must have had 50 reroll attempts and didn't see them once. So after all that failed, I just decided to spam attacking harvest. It's nice and cheap, it's easy to farm the life force, and I did get a very good jewel, which freed up nodes on the tree and gave me the 2 nodes that I had before anyway, so that was a massive bonus. The next step was to try and get some better gloves. I wanted attack speed, chaos resistance, life, and then an open prefix to craft damage while leeching. The easiest way to do this was going to be recombinating. Now, I did actually get really lucky before I even started and rolled one with a chaos essence. So that sorted my gloves out straight away, but they weren't ideal and I did still want to try and recombinate a pair of gloves. And I did this essentially by using 2 magic bases that had a combo of chaos resistance and attack speed. When they both hit together, I then combined it with one with life and another decent mod. I ended up with a very good pair of gloves. Unfortunately, I couldn't multi-mod them because I only had 1 suffix and there wasn't a second prefix I really needed. So I ended up having to basically exalt for 2 mods and then craft damage while leeching. We got a bit unlucky with the exalts. Once I had these items replaced, I decided to go and test some T17s with a setup, and I got wrecked. I did complete one, but it was probably on about the 8th T17 attempt, and most of the times I'd get through the map fine and get absolutely demolished by the boss. So I needed to try and rethink how I built the character in terms of what stats I was going for. Now, I was building this character like I did in trade, which was not a ton of life, but just enough for most scenarios, and then going damage where I can. The issue again with this is I can't then buy my way out of this by going and buying gear that doubles my DPS. I had to farm it myself, and it's really difficult to do in SSF because realistically the biggest damage upgrade for this build is going to be a T0 unique sword. So I actually respect the build in terms of just moving some points around. I dropped a little bit of crit, I dropped the fortify nodes, and then I added fortify into my link. Now this gave me about 10 points with the points that I freed up from the cluster jewel, so it gave me a lot more life. I then actually just finish up my Eldritch crafts to get them, half decent, and then concentrate on getting life on gear where I could. And it did mean dropping quite a bit of DPS, but my survivability went up a lot, and it did feel much better. In regards to the gear compared to the last episode, I managed to craft a better amethyst ring. It adds stats, similar DPS, big life, but also I could craft non-challenge skills, which helped a lot with how the build felt to play. My belt I kept, but I was able to lock the prefixes and reroll suffixes with chaos, and on the second attempt I hit a half decent belt. I wanted a better lethal pride, so I farmed some more legion while I still had it on my tree, and I got one that was marginally better. It didn't have double damage, but it had intimidate and had life on quite a few nodes, so it's similar DPS to the old jewel, but more life. I recrafted some of my Viridian jewels in Harvest, just looking for simply attack speed and life, or life and crit multi, and I managed to hit a couple. The last change I made was I did add a guard skill in, which was Immortal Call and cast when damage taken, to deal with shotgunning, and this helped quite a lot with survivability. Now I only have 4 endurance charges, so I don't get a massive amount of increased duration from that bonus, so I have linked it to more duration, just so that when it triggers it gives me a few seconds where I pretty much can't die. This does mean that it triggers less often, so I have to be a little bit more careful, but it does last longer when it's actually active. This took quite a long time to do because I do play part-time, I do work. So this was probably like a week's worth of on and off playing in SSF to get the gear how I wanted it. And then with this setup, I then decided to go back to T17s, and it definitely felt more comfortable. I completed quite a few of them with only a couple of deaths, but there are still lots of mods I can't run because my DPS is not amazing. So mods like huge amounts of life as extra ES or 100% increased life put me in a lot of danger, because although my defenses are better, if a fight's going on twice as long with mechanics that I have to dodge and I'm not that great at it, it means I'm at risk of 6 portaling that map and not getting the fragment at the end. So I do think it's probably not something I'll target much with this character, because I probably need 30 Chaos Orbs to reroll one T17, and that's quite a lot of a currency sink. When it comes to T16s, these feel an absolute breeze with this character, same with any invitations that I've tackled. I've not yet done the Feared because I just hate doing Uber, Zeri and Shaper, so I'm just probably not going to bother with the Feared for the fact that it just gives me 1 point and 1 favourite slot. So the problems I had with T17s is that my defences are not too bad when I'm standing still. I've got Arctic Armour. If I'm close to the enemy, I've got Flesh and Stone. When I get hit for a chunk of my life in Water Cool with proc, so overall that's pretty decent. The issue in T17s is you have to move so much away from degens and attacks that are going to one-shot you that a lot of the time you are in danger of dying because you are both moving and away from that boss. So you're not getting basically any of your defenses from your auras that you're running. The other issue, when you combine that with melee, it just doesn't feel great. For a lot of the bosses, you have to stand still to do damage, obviously, and they'll put some AoE around you or a one-shot mechanic where you have to dodge out the way, and it really lowers your DPS window compared to something like mines, spells, bows, where you can just stand out the way and still do DPS. So for me, this is a great T16 mapping build, farming invitations, but for T17s, and obviously then going on to Uber bosses, in SSF, the way I've built it, it's just not viable. I'm sure with tons and tons of time, I could build up, make it a little bit better, but I still think it's hampered by the fact it's Smite and it's not Vaal Lightning Strike. I did switch to Vaal Lightning Strike and maybe consider doing that as my kind of Uber and T17 variant, but I just don't like the skill as much as Smite. I actually got a 2020 Vaal Lightning Strike, tested it out, switched my tree around, switched my jewels, and I just don't enjoy the skill as much, so I then respec'd back and went back to Vaal Smite. Yes, it's definitely limited in the way it scales, because Vaal Lightning Strike you can scale with projectile damage, maybe point blank, or go returning projectiles. There's lots more ways to eke damage out of that skill, and it just hits harder anyway. But I just didn't enjoy it, so we went back to Vaal Smite. As I mentioned, in T16s, I did feel pretty much unkillable. I was doing Expedition, Harvest, Delirium, all with increased map effects, and I leveled comfortably to 98, and I never ever felt like I was in danger of dying. I just feel like there is still a too big a gap, especially SSF highlights that, between T17s and T16s. They don't feel like a gap to Uber bosses. They feel like if you can do T17s, you can do Uber bosses. I just feel still the mods on T17s are a bit harsh. And the fact that all the loot, if you're in a trade environment, for example, is kind of locked behind T17s in terms of your max ability to farm currency. I just haven't enjoyed trying to progress to T17s, because I feel like when I'm running T16s, I'm smashing everything. I'm not dying. I don't feel like dying. The bosses go down in seconds. I go to T17. The mapping part is fairly okay, but when it gets to bossing and you might have modifiers on there that increase attack speed, increase damage, it's just so much more difficult than T16s. But that could be partly because I've picked a build that I probably knew would struggle with that aspect once we got there. SSF obviously has its limitations, and I knew that, but I think the build, if you were to run this in trade and then just throw something like a Rakiata's Dance onto the build, buy some better crit jewels, you'd probably get 50 to 60% more damage with still fairly decent survivability. And then you've got an option of running much more map mods on T17, so the extra life ones won't feel as bad. The life is extra ES. You're going to be killing stuff much more quickly, so you can maybe take some more dangerous mods. So overall, I think the build, if I league started it in trade, would have been a great league starter. And in SSF, it's done really well. I've got as far as I normally get in SSF. I very rarely get to Ubers and things like that. So I'm really happy with where the build got. The last thing I'm doing is upgrading King's March in case I do decide to start another character that's more focused on maybe Uber bosses and T17s. But I'm really not sure I want to play that much more this league to invest into another character. I just wanted to add one more thing before I close out the video. I noticed when I was looking through the footage and editing it for the video that when I'm double hitting an enemy, most of the time that enemy's just outside the aura of my Flesh and Stone, which means it's not really having any effect at all. So I've dropped a few life nodes and masteries that were nice to have on the tree. And I've added in these area of effect and reservation nodes here, increased area of effect here, and then I've also linked an increased area of effect up to my Flesh and Stone, Because I'm taking these reservation nodes, it allows me to do that. It also leaves me with more spare mana, so I'm going to actually run a lower level precision, which means my accuracy is going to be capped. Even when I have enemies that have increased evasion, my accuracy is still going to be capped. It also means map mods like reduced accuracy have less effect on me than they did before. Overall, I do lose a bit of life, but I think survivability will go up massively, having this much bigger area of effect of Flesh and Stone. So what we'll do is just go and run a very quick T16 map showcase. It's not much of a tree at the moment because I'm trying to farm some gold. So it's literally just essences and all of the increased effects I can get along with some shrines. But it will give you an idea of kind of how the build feels. So we'll run and see if we do have a city square. I've just recently changed my favorite slots up. I'll just put a little bit of game volume on, and then we will alch this, and then we'll put some scarabs in for some more enemies. Just making sure, I'd rather not do minus. It doesn't matter because I don't have any XP, but I don't want to run a map where I am potentially going to die. And this is another issue I've had with this character. There's quite a few mods you want to try and avoid. So something like this is fine. So we'll go and we'll get some scarabs. Run this one and then this one. And I don't know if we have another. I don't really want to put more shrines on. That'll do. And then we'll give this a quick run. He was annoyingly quick and evasive. And we'll just run and clear this map up. And I need to put some gold back into King's March because I haven't played for a little while, so it's definitely going to be empty. And this is why I like this build. Vaal Smite is just fun. Vaal Lightning Strike is great for single target, but for blasting groups of packs, Vaal Smite is awesome. So I lost my Immortal Call there, so I'll just go and I will Endure and Cry and get the endurance charges back. Just go and kill. I lost it again, so we're just going to kill these essence monsters up here. Get my endurance charges back. We'll keep leveling up the area as far as I can. I'm not stacked with intelligence, so I don't think I'm going to be able to level it all the way. There's not much point doing a Legion with no nodes on the tree. And it's stuck in that corner there. Lost my endurance charges again through a Immortal Call. T17 map, great. That means I'll have to run to more. I'm just going to clear this last bit up and then we'll close out the video. So I'm not going to go through like the gear and the tree and the jewels because it's more just an improvement from the last one and how the build functions has not really changed. So once my arm heals, to be fair, I think I might have just twinged it. It feels a little bit better already, but I'm going to play this character some more purely because I enjoy it. I'll farm some currency. We'll maybe try and target a build to play if we want to carry on this series, and then we'll respec into a character that can hopefully blitz through T17s and kill uber bosses. But I don't know if I've got that much staying power left in the league, so that's a maybe. That's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and see you in the next one.